Mark Twain once said, "History doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme." But what if it's less like a rhyme and more like a Netflix series that just keeps recycling the same four seasons? Yeah, welcome to the Strauss-Howe generational theory, sometimes referred to as the fourth turning. And the big question today is, are we in the middle of the season finale? Strauss and Howe argued that history runs in cycles, like a giant historical washing machine. Each cycle, called a saeculum, lasts about 80 to 100 years, basically a long human lifetime. And inside each saeculum, four distinct turnings. The first turning is the high, when society is stable, everyone trusts the system, and suburbs are booming. Think Leave It to Beaver. The second turning is the awakening. People get restless. There are protests, spiritual revivals, and culture wars. Think about hippies, marches, tie-dye. The third turning is the unraveling. Institutions weaken, individualism rises, and it feels like every man for himself. Cue Wall Street greed and cable news fights. Finally, the fourth turning, the crisis. During the crisis, all bets are off. Everything breaks down. Wars, depressions, pandemics. Basically, it's the season finale, but also when society resets and rebuilds. Now here's the twist. There are four recurring character types in each generation. Strauss and Howe called them the four archetypes. Prophets are visionaries. They're born after a crisis and grow up protected, then lead values revolutions as young adults. Yeah, boomers, I'm looking at you. Nomads are the skeptics. Born during awakenings, they survive chaotic childhoods and become the gritty realists of midlife. That's Gen X, the latchkey kids who became pragmatic adults. Heroes are builders. Born during unravelings, they come of age during crisis and take on the heavy lifting. This would be the greatest generation, and maybe today's millennials. Artists. Artists are adapters. Born in crisis, they're sheltered kids who grow into sensitive, refining adults. Think silent generation, and guess what? Maybe Gen Z. So yeah, history is basically a giant role-playing game. You don't get to pick your character, you're born into one. Let's fast forward through American history and see if there's anything to this theory of repeating cycles. The first was the Revolutionary Cycle, which lasted 90 years and ended in 1794. The crisis in that cycle, the American Revolution. The second cycle was the Civil War cycle, which lasted 71 years and ended in 1865. Want to guess what the crisis was? Yeah, you got it, the Civil War. Next was the Great Power Cycle, which lasted 81 years and ended in 1946. The crisis then was the Great Depression and World War II. So the pattern seems to repeat. Every 80 to 100 years, society hits a big reset button. Painful, messy, but followed by renewal. So where are we now? Strauss and Howe say we're in the Millennial Saeculum. The high saw a post-war boom, suburbs, trust in government, and church on Sundays. Basically everything in a black and white TV commercial. The awakening was characterized by civil rights and Vietnam protests, Woodstock, and second wave feminism. This was the era of don't trust anyone over 30. The unraveling ushered in greed is good, cable news shouting matches, and internet chat rooms. Trust in institutions? Not so much. And the fourth turning, the crisis. Are we really there? Since 2001, we've seen 9/11, the 2008 crash, the COVID pandemic, rising political division, and growing global tensions. Honestly, this list could go on and on. So, are we smack dab in the middle of another crisis? Strauss and Howe predicted one between 2005 and 2025. And, well, check your news feed. So here's the big question. Are we really in a fourth turning right now? If so, what's the defining crisis? Is it economic, political, cultural, global? All of the above? Strauss and Howe say every fourth turning ends with renewal, a new high. So maybe, just maybe, this storm has a sunrise at the end. That's the hopeful part of the theory. The idea that out of every crisis comes renewal. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you want the full deep dive documentary with all the details and timelines, I've got that on this channel too. But if this TLDR gave you the essentials, hit like and subscribe. And maybe tell a friend that history might just be Netflix on repeat.